Okay, so in this video I'm going to have a look at geometry and just the basics of geometry, just some definitions that you're going to need to know if you're tackling any geometrical problems. So I'm going to start with what's called the plane, or the two-dimensional plane. And basically the two-dimensional plane is just a flat surface, if you like. It has length and width, but it has no depth. Now on the plane you've got points, and you have an infinite number of points, and they have no dimensions in themselves. They're just positions on the two-dimensional plane. So usually we give them letters as identification, like A, B, C, usually capital letters. So this is the point A, this is the point B on the two-dimensional plane. These 2 points here are coplanar because they're on the same plane. They're on the same two-dimensional plane, so they're said to be coplanar. The next thing I'm going to have a look at is a line, or the line. Now a line is just something like this. It's straight, and let's say it goes through 2 points X and Y. So it goes on indefinitely in this direction and this direction here through the points X and Y. So this is the line XY. These 2 points X and Y are said to be collinear. 2 L's here, I think. So the 2 points X and Y are collinear because they're on the one line. They're on the same line, so X and Y are collinear points. Now, 2 other types of lines I'm going to look at are parallel and perpendicular. Parallel lines and perpendicular lines. So 2 lines are parallel if they look something like this. Usually we put a little arrow or maybe 2 arrows on each line just to indicate that these 2 lines are parallel. So say for example this is the line M and this is the line N, then we would say M is parallel to N. The line M is parallel to the line N. This is the symbol for parallel. So perpendicular lines will look something like this. So you will have, say, the line L and the line K, for example, and they will meet at right angles or at 90 degrees here. So we would say that the line L is perpendicular to the line K. This is the symbol for perpendicular. Okay, so let's now look at different types of lines, and first one we're going to look at is what's called a line segment. So a line segment is something like this. Let's say we take the point A and we take the point B. So this is the point A, this is the point B. So the line segment goes from A to B. So it starts at A and finishes at B. Unlike the line itself, a line would go through A and through B and go on forever in both directions. A line segment is just part of that line, so it starts at one point, finishes at another point. And a line segment would normally be written like this. You'd write down A, B, and you would put a square bracket on either side. So it starts at A, finishes at B. Okay, so that's your line segment. Generally with a line segment as well, you can measure it, so for example, if this is 10 centimeters, you can just stick a ruler on A up to B and it'll measure 10 centimeters or 20 centimeters or whatever. It's measurable, in other words, whereas a line is not, since it goes on forever in both directions. Okay, so that's your line segment. Let's have a look at a ray. Okay, a ray is something like this. We'll take the point, let's take the point X, and we'll go on like this through another point called Y. So this is a ray. So in other words, it starts at a particular point, goes through another point, and straight on forever. So it goes on in this direction, for example, forever. An array is usually written like this. You write down X, Y, you'd write down one square bracket only, and nothing on this side here. So this is the ray X, Y, starting at X, finishing at Y. If it started at Y, went through X and on in this direction, then you'd write it the other way around. You'd write the square bracket and then Y and X. Okay, so that's our ray here. Okay, let's have a look then at some angles. Okay, so we're going to look now at various angles, and the first one we're going to look at is just how you actually describe angles. So say for example you have an angle like this, and say this here is A, this here is the vertex of the angle, and that's called B, and then you have another point here called C. This is your angle in here. So we can describe this in a number of different ways. So you can describe it as simply the angle ABC. You can describe it as the angle CBA. Remember that B here is in the middle because we're going from C to B and then up to A, which describes this angle, or from A to B and then across to C. You can write it as the angle ABC like this. So this is the symbol for an angle. Rather than writing the word, you can write this here. You can write the symbol again, CBA. Or you can simply just write down the angle B. B is where the angle actually is, here. So you would just write down the symbol for the angle and then the letter itself. Now, there are a number of different types of angles, so let's have a look at those. The first one I just want to have a look at is an acute angle. So we're going to look at an acute angle. An acute angle is an angle less than 90 degrees. So it looks something like this. So it's less than 90 degrees. The next one is a right angle. And a right angle is 90 degrees. So usually it's written something like this. This little symbol here will mean that it's a right angle. So that's going to be 90 degrees here. The next one I want to look at is an obtuse. An obtuse angle. Now an obtuse angle will be greater than 90 degrees, so it's greater than 90 degrees, and it's also going to be less than 180 degrees. So it'll look something like this here. So it'll go from there around to there. So that's your obtuse angle. A straight angle is just simply a straight line, if you like, and it goes from here around to here, and it is 180 degrees. That's your straight angle. Next one is called a reflex. A reflex angle. And a reflex angle will be more than 180 degrees, so it's greater than 180 degrees, and it is less than 360 degrees. So that might look something like this. So it starts here, goes around to here. So that's your reflex angle. Next one we can look at is a full angle. It's a full angle. And a full angle is just 360 degrees. So this would be 360 degrees. So that might look something like this. It'll start here and go all the way around here, 360 degrees. Your full angle. We have an ordinary angle. An ordinary angle is just any angle less than 180 degrees. Any angle smaller than a straight angle, if you like. Any angle smaller than this would be an ordinary angle. Next one then is called a null angle. A null angle is 0 degrees, so that's 0 degrees, so it doesn't have any measurement at all. And finally, I just want to have a look at a supplementary angle. Or supplementary angles, I should say. So for example, if you have, let's say, two angles like this, you got this angle here, and you have another angle here like this. So these two angles here will add up to 180 degrees. So if this is 110 degrees, for example, and this is 70 degrees, 110 plus 70 will give you 180 degrees. So these two angles here will add up to 180 degrees, so they're called supplementary angles. Now they don't necessarily have to be next to each other like this. You can have them opposite each other, or you can have them like this, for example. Let's say we have an angle here like this. Let's say this angle here is 120 degrees from here to here. And let's say we have another angle down here, and let's say this angle here is 60 degrees. Well, these two angles here are also supplementary angles, because when you add 120 and 60, you get 180 degrees. So they're supplementary angles again. Okay, well that's about it. Just one thing I meant to mention back here. I mentioned that this line segment here was 10 centimeters. The way you would normally write that, and I have this in another video anyway, is the distance from A to B is 10 centimeters. You would just draw two straight lines like this. This means the distance from A to B is 10 centimeters.